Hello, everyone. My name is Yuta Jazz, and today we are going to do a reading about whether you are seeing things right or am I seeing things right? That'll be the title of the video, probably. But yeah, I have three piles, and I thought the top and the bottom of the deck is maybe like personal or important to some people. You obviously divinate as you want to when, I show this to you. But I did get a message with this one, which is instead of just trying to completely go into, what do you call it? When we're acting from lower chakras or deeper, like human inhibitions, right? It's more of a case of like that can bridge over to ego, right? And sometimes, like when we are working or coming from more of our center or core as we are used to and like are attached to in terms of our personality or character, it's kind of like even that needs a bit of grounding. It needs a rationale, it needs a reality like check or realization to be coming from the right place, right? Instead of just being completely like in a way animalistic, but I don't necessarily mean it in a negative way, like animalistic in a way of like coming from instincts, coming from definite things learned, coming from like that energy of like set in motion, done and done. And it's a bit of a rigid approach, right? That isn't most of the time that isn't really coming from a place of like free will and freedom. It's just a set notion of how you are going to react and act and what it'll like result into. So yeah, if that whole part is not for you or doesn't resonate, don't worry about it. That's not for you. But for some people, it is an important message of like instead of going to assessing your power and instincts and all of that, right? Like the ground as well with it, find balance, find harmony, find a way that like still helps you to be open and flowing as well, not necessarily just decisive, maybe even cutthroat or very solid in your opinions and how you see things. Give wiggle room to a rational approach that may benefit you more by being more open, but still like respecting that side of yourself, right? It's okay, but it's kind of like there is a request for more freedom or rationale. So yeah, you can feel free and choose one of the piles. We're gonna move on to pile number one. Hello, pile number one. This is the card that you have chosen. 44, the sacrifice reversed as well. You want to see it upright? Here you are. I really like the cards in this deck. They're very, I don't know, they speak to this psyche in a very interesting, almost psychedelic type of way. Some type of mastery that has been chosen is kind of put on a delay, but also not in a bad way. It's kind of like instead of completely giving up on something, there might be a feeling of taking things more slow and more a steady and stable way and learning that before you shift or change anything. If you're going for like some type of decisions or other things like that, instead of being risky, you have taken more of like the stable road of trying to make decisions where one, you're not rushing, but two, you're also giving room to yourself to like process through it, go through it, and then make decisions that might like actually give or release something like sacrifice even. But I like it's kind of coming across of instead of making a sacrifice and then having to stick to it and deal with it and maybe be displeased with it, you have made a choice where it's more slow and steady and will not make you feel like you have sacrificed something. It's more of a case of like very much looking and reflecting on like what you want to have in your life, right? Going forward, what you won't want to have anymore, and that there needs to be a passing of time instead of just like swapping something out or instantly going into something new or giving and taking in a way that is more extreme. Like you've taken a more solid path, a more solid approach, and that might be actually surprising to some of you because you are people that make like it feels like this group is of people that are more steadfast, headfast, fiery, spontaneous. Things just kind of come to you and you do them. But there is like an approach where it's like, okay, fuck it, I'll slow down and do things this way because I really want this result to work out. Like it's a personal investment instead of just rushing for something because I feel like there is enough awareness and knowing on how like rush things can go and happen. But this specific thing that I'm speaking to, which is different for all of you, is like it's that significant and important for you to slow down and do things in a better, more harmonious way. For some of you, it's a patience test as well, but you've accepted that and you're very proud of yourself and how you're dealing with it, and you're probably seeing a new side to yourself where it's like, I am patient even though I am uncomfortable with that choice. If it's the best thing for me, I will choose this instead of go the fast and high and mighty and fiery route and like not really taking things into account. It's like I'll slow down if I need to and if I have to, even if I don't like it. I will not avoid the reality and the truth of things. So it's a few too many cards, but I feel like I need all of them. So, and I also am seeing, fuck, I just pushed in one of the cards. Is this the one? Yeah. So I wanted to show the top and bottom, but I also got the notion of like show the middle as well. So if you're interested in those type of things, this is the top card of the deck, this is the middle card of the deck, and this is the bottom card of the deck. I won't be reading on it too much because it kind of seems like it's reaffirming the thing that I've just have spoken about, honestly. So yeah, pause the video if you really do want to like look at them, but I think it's easy to see like seven of pence, five of swords, and five of cups. So yeah, let's go. Okay, where do we go first? Because there's like card barf. This was later, but I feel like it'll be here. This is somewhere in the middle or something, and this is like all of them need to go up now right here. So start with these. Okay, one, two, three, four, five. Nice. Okay. Yeah, so this is going on about the point of like not really being stuck in a position where you're constantly just like not really maybe happy with how you're doing things because you understand that you are doing things the right way. It's not like you need to really go away from any mental hardship or disagreement within yourself. Like you don't necessarily need to go through this process if you don't want to, if you just accept your new approach and then let like bygones be bygones with how you used to be doing things in the past. You're saying that there is a good approach and then maybe not such a good approach to multiple and different things. Just because you worked and operated in this way previously, it doesn't mean that you need to be going forward with it. And you're really taking on this like transformation. I feel like you've definitely learned that you've made some wrong choices in the past, but even those were right in their own aspect and core truth and reality. Like you've just learned from the point of like, that wasn't actually the way that I would have wanted to do things, but because of certain circumstances and then internal like disagreement and rushing, I just jumped the gun and just did it that way anyway. And sometimes it was fun, but most of the time, like if I were to employ this for something more serious and significant in my life, it wouldn't have worked out then. So this is like the truth of it, that you are like, it's okay, to sometimes not be as rigid, to not be as structured or to default to one way of doing things. It's like you can look after yourself and get like the results you want if you just kind of like spend more time in consideration and then like enjoy the process altogether. And like because you haven't maybe done this way, and or maybe you had like a rebellious attitude or were told by some people to be a certain way, like it stopped you from this acceptance of yourself of like I am multidimensional. I have multiple ways of how I can look at things, and so I can approach them equally as different every time they happen or pop up. So yeah, there we go. Yeah, you're this is the exchange. This is actually the exchange we were talking about. So you're putting down the hardships of it and you're kind of just going towards like the positivity, the stability of it, the way that it's gonna rock you less emotionally, but still staying true and honest to your core nature and how you like to do things, and that is okay, and you can like you can trust yourself. You don't need to be caught in the middle of your own thoughts or ideas. You can accept like how you're gonna spend that time, even though it's gonna maybe be a longer period, right? Or a longer stage or a longer amount of like real life months and hours and whatever. Like that doesn't mean that it can't feel as exciting as how or when you are spontaneous. Like that, those aren't mutually exclusive as well. So. Yeah, this was really short. I don't have anything to say. Um, this is really good. This was short and sweet. I guess obviously if this resonated, you already know the answer to the question of the video, the reading. So good on you. This isn't necessarily yeah, this is really like a really good approach to your like circumstance. Um, Thank you so much for participating and chilling and sitting here. If you have any like story to share or whatever you want to support me, go down below to my um, comment section, do a like, do a subscribe, or go to the link tree to see my other sites and accounts that I have even more content on and provide more services on. And besides that, you have a beautiful, magnificent day, and I'll see you next time. Hello, pile number two. Welcome in. And here is the card you got. It is Wild Woman and it is reversed. It's a 62. Really like this card. It's one of my favorites. I don't know. All of the cards in this deck speak so much to me. It speaks volumes just by its images. But we're gonna do a different deck for you, Oracle deck. The thing that's coming across is like a little bit of worry and anxiety because there might have been a choice and a change done recently. This was recent, where apply it however it works for you, but as if in a relationship you have decided to compromise instead of fully express yourself and come forward with your opinions, thoughts, and how you really are and how you really act. There's just some type of denial of who you truly are and at your core can never change to be. Like it's basically like something you're born to here to be or born with, right? And you're hiding it from someone just to appease the relationship and maintain them in your life. So this can be different if relationships completely don't apply to you, but this is kind of the relationship file I kind of feel like. But it's not only, there's some of you that are like, oh, I did this for a job opportunity and career thing. I did this for school and uni, and maybe there was a better option, but I was so scared of like finishing this year that I just jumped to whatever was the next thing instead of like taking my time and going through the process of it. So Which isn't a bad choice, right? Like, even through that, we learn. It's not like you have to be a certain set way. If you're not ready to be fully out there yourself, right? Like, take your own time to come out of whatever closet that it is you might be in. For some, maybe this is a bit of a sexual thing. For others, it's mostly like relationships and or your relationship to a big life aspect of yours that is as big as like being with a partner and having a household and like funds you manage and just like a livelihood thing. Like this feels pretty survival-esque. Like I am going to do this so I'm not rocking my own boat, my own lifeboat, like I'm gonna do this because like I haven't really seen other options or opportunities out there for me, and I don't really want to be lost in weird like waves of life or other uncontrollable forces. Like I don't want to be doing all of this on my own, and I think like this is a point of stability for me that is necessary for me to be okay. So yeah, like everything in its own time. Put my freaking tarot deck really far away. Why did I do that? So yeah, you got the cards of in any moment, I can surrender to a powerful presence of love through prayer, contemplation, and stillness. I am the loving energy of the universe, and thank you, universe, for helping me see beyond the limits of fear. Thank you for expanding my perceptions so that I can see what is of the highest good. Yeah, so I mean, this is pretty self-explanatory. I have to shift so much during this reading. It's weird. Anyway, um, like you know that you're gonna be okay no matter what you do. Like you do have that understanding somewhere deep in your subconscious, but the issue is like you are like you're scared of the other side of this, I guess, is the other point of it. Like everything has two sides to it, right? Just because something is great doesn't mean it's only all great, right? There's also like pros and cons to absolutely everything. Whenever we get together with someone or get into a situation or a career or whatever, like we accept the negatives as much as we accept the positives. We don't ever really stick to a thing just for the good things. It's more of a case of like the bad stuff or the heaviness or the responsibility, like something of that other side of it, right, is also okay for us to deal with or is appealing or is just part of it where we are like accepting it with the whole for the whole of it, right? You can't have the good without the bad, and you can see it in any and every aspect of life, like when you're when you're in a relationship or you see other people talking about a relationship, you can see the people that have connected more or more familiar with each other and whole, like they have some type of appreciation for the negatives of their partner as well. If it's like a job thing, like they don't mind that they have to either get up early, drive 2 hours to their job, or that it's like outside, or that it's inside in front of a computer the whole entire time, right? Like that is a negative that is almost like either a pro or a part of the job where it can even serve them as a limiting thing or as a nuisance or as a negative, right? Like official jobs and official jobs, like whatever you want to add to it. Education as well, right? There's gonna be like fun times, but there's also going to be times where it's really stressful and maybe limiting, and you have to give it your all to get the result you want. So it kind of seems to me like you are comfortable with who you are to yourself. You're happy about it, but then when it comes to relationships, it's like you have something there that it's limiting your belief in you being completely accepted and loved for who you are. That maybe that's a part of your lovable self or who you truly are and need to express yourself in this world, on this planet. It can be a very daunting thing, but like if you believe that you have the power to be okay and that the universe is looking after you and that you have great guides and that you have like nice amazing people around you, even family, right? Then like what is truly stopping you from accepting this change in perception that like what you're afraid of isn't actually there to harm you. It's not to deter you. It's not there to stop you. It's like there's something where you can go through a transformation where you see that like the things you're afraid about yourself or other people seeing like you for that side of you isn't a negative, it's actually a positive that can make you more open and emotional and maybe even connect with your life or other people on a deeper level or in the way that you always really wanted to, right? Like maybe you're one of those people that has always felt like some like people can't get through this wall of mine. For some reason, I'm never perceived the same way as I actually am inside of myself or for what I actually think. If I try explaining my opinions, people fucking take them the opposite way. Like this can manifest in different ways for different people at different like levels really. And it can be a really deep core thing that keeps repeating in your life, or it can be a surface thing that is just kind of like, I guess, like that's just one place where you can't necessarily always meet people on the same level, right? But like some things like that are in life and other things aren't. So, which is actually happening here, and can you actually like, I guess, accept who you are more, so then you can actually have that experience in real life? Do you want that? Is that important to you, or is that something you're willing to compromise and really give away? Because you've made a decision right now, but there's still time to change your decision if you sit with yourself, because this is something for you to answer. This isn't something that it should be answered for you. Change will happen depending on this, or you will be just continuing on the same road that will expand for you, right? There's going to be more stuff that appears and whatever because you're settling into your current decision, or you can completely switch it out after you sit with yourself, after you connect with your own reality, after you connect with your own choices and how you think and what you really want, right? You do this like don't listen to other people about this even if they tell you they know better. Don't like this is supposed to come from you, and there's a graceful period currently where it's like we're going to love you either way. Whatever you do, we're always going to be there protecting you. The universe is always on your side. But where do you want to go with this? Do you want to see more of this color right here, right? Or do you want to see more of this color right here over here? Like we're gonna be in the middle of between of everything. Like we're leaving your side and there's no direct answer for you. So, but it will change a lot in how you like, experience life and what it means to you. Two of these as well. Two of these as well. Third one here. Really? Yes. So I feel like this is a bit of a hard thing for you. I feel like there's a lot of stuff you don't want to be listening to in terms of advice for this, but that's okay. Like you have the strength to make this decision. Whatever you do, you shouldn't blame yourself or feel guilty or ashamed. You can take it on and know that it's gonna still lead you to the same destination. It's like what road are you gonna take for it because of like what you gotta go through internally and how you feel about yourself and life and people and everything, right? So if you don't take action right now, you're still gonna there's an expectation that like this feeling is still gonna happen to you, which is kind of right, kind of not. And I'll explain that. It's right in the point that if you don't change anything, your life is still gonna try and gravitate to this place of victory, good things, companionship, love, all the other stuff, right? But if you don't take action at all, there's no guarantee that and you just stay where you're at forever and all time, like, and you don't let that change or develop you. Either of these choices are going to do that, just, in different ways. Are you really going to end up in any other different place than you are currently? No. Is there even then a point and a choice to not making a decision? Is there really any relevant experience or feeling to you if you don't make your own choices and decisions and see what happens off of that, right? Like if you initiate, you can see how that goes right or wrong. If you leave it up to the world and fate and whatever happens happens, that isn't really aiming at anything, right? It's an uncontrollable wave of happenings that is just going to randomly occur, and you can't really learn about yourself because you didn't choose anything. You didn't initiate it. Like you didn't initiate anything. So you're just seeing random data from your life and from your experiences instead of actually seeing like this is what I chose and this is what it happened to be. And that can that's like a bit more conscious. It can teach you more in a more concise and obvious and clear way instead of just being like, well, that's just life. That's just life. So, yeah. All right, what is the tarot gonna say? I feel like it's just gonna clarify a lot of things. You are trying to make peace with your decision. I think it's just a case of like don't be afraid to make your own decisions, go off like first, right? Express things first, do things first, bring stuff to attention first. Like maybe you are going to be a apprentice in how you think about it, or the point that you're just even now starting to think about it, and it's so outside of your realms of understanding. But like that doesn't deter you from the right of just doing it. Like you are, here to make your own choices just as anyone else, and don't base them off of like the world around you necessarily, unless it is really relevant or important, like because otherwise you're making all of your choices only in response to things and never about what you actually need or want. And the world is shaping off of us. It's becoming a thing off of us. You're trying to make peace with the decision, as I said, but like I think there is a part of you that's being bugged by what happened and how it occurred, and is like seeking introspection. It's seeking something that you can set your awareness or foundation about. Like, this is like where I'm going to bounce off of within me. Like, when I do these choices, like, this is how it's going to go. You know what I mean? Because you are currently like, um, yeah, just know that whatever choices you make, you can be proud of yourself for making that choice and going out of your comfort zone and that being the right thing for you to do emotionally. It doesn't have to be like anything really specific to the point of like, hey, this has to be this way or that way, or this is right and this is wrong, and like if I don't do this, I'm going to lose something and I'm going to be in a bad spot and I'm going to not find friends, no one's going to understand me, or I'm going to have difficulties in life and I can't like have any joy or happiness or experience myself, right? Like that is you. That is all you. That is all of your experience and decisions and choices. Like other people also have to revolve around that to some extent, right? You can't be the only person that's revolving around these like things that aren't really revolving around you, is how it's also coming across. Like choose the path that's best for you, and if you don't want to choose anything, that's also a choice, and you'll have to come to terms with that. You'll need to like accept it. Yeah. Thank you so much for getting a reading from me. I hope this has helped you in some way. If it does, feel free to show me some support in the comment section, subscription section, like section. Do whatever. Don't do anything. It's up to you. I appreciate like whatever it is that you spend your energy and time with me in or about or whatever. If you want to see more stuff from me, go down into the link tree in my description box where I have Twitch, gaming, YouTube, Instagram, Etsy, and mostly that's about it at the moment. Wishing you a good day or a good coping day. I'll see you next time. Hello, everyone. 20, 29:29 on my recording clock, so I think that's kind of cool. All of the cards are reversals, interestingly enough. So you got the Smoky Mirror, which is quite a good, interesting card. I mean, all of them really speak volumes to me, but this one usually is related to mystics and seer energy for me. And when like you have abilities or empathy and you've been tuned or tapped into it or have been trying to learn more about it, but then you get like flipped around. You're basically like upside down with it. You know, you can't see things as clearly. You don't understand. Maybe there's some confusion. And there's always a choice to feel more grounded in this energy and to find your balance or peace or calm or just, letting things be as they are. Or, you can feel like completely out of view and unseen. And it's really weird. There's two parts of this card that I haven't seen before. To me, it looks like one, here there's a figure and they have like their hands open like that, um, which speaks to higher realms and the higher self for me and getting like, downloads and awareness. But if I look at it upside down, I don't think there has to be anything that you see here, but I see a feminine figure. Don't know if you guys could see it or not. I see a feminine figure and their head goes by the head of like the Buddha or the meditator to the neck of them almost or just above it. But I see like a feminine figure almost upside down in the ripples and in the waters. Um, which in this case is coming across as like a need to be receptive and aware in the depths of whatever is happening within you currently, within also your reality. It's not like you need to get enthralled by it, but it is a case of like your reality speaking to you in deeper ways than might be apparent currently right now. And it's like certain things from the subconscious are coming through first and you're external, so then you can look at it internally and realize and reflect on what it actually meant and why it happened or whatever it is. A big part of manifestation, and a lot of people have a bit of a misconception. They think if you're just intending to manifest whatever it is, that it is you creating something specific and a destination for you and whatever, right? Like you are intending for it to happen, and so it happens. A huge part of manifestation is that we are always manifesting and we are like when we are more aware and tied into our abilities and what we are capable of, there's a more clear and concise like communication with signs and the universe or your external reality. It kind of like adds up and makes sense. And if you're not really as conscious or you get thrown into different like aspects and levels of yourself, some of it at some points can be like tricky to see. You can't always be in a high mood. You gotta sometimes go through a bunch of different other stuff. That's the beauty of life. So there is a really strong sensation that there's something in your reality that also like may relate not just to your subconscious specifically. It's relating to not even expectations of the real world or other things. It's a self-identity thing here. So there's something that you're going through in the deep depths of you, something possibly emotional. For others of you, it could just be a philosophy and a very strong belief to the point where it's really touched your heart space, but it feels like maybe even something traumatic for some of you. I just got that. So sorry if that is your experience. But it is something that like is popping up maybe as a subject, as a topic, as a conversation, maybe as a person even, or whatever limiting situation from like government things and other stuff. There's something about it teaching you a huge misconception about your identity and who you really are. And it's like, you are not that person. That is not your truth. That is not how life has to go. But you are in the throes of that. You're in the throes of that belief. This is how my life always went. This is how I'm gonna need to adapt and live to my life, like with myself and with my life. And you might have even had some weird shit about like some past life stuff coming across. It was kind of basically like a liar or a misconception. Like it was pulling you towards something that needs to be released, not that something dictates who you are in this current incarnation. So if you have any identity attachments, this is definitely specifically your pile. If you're not aware of what identity you are attached to, but you understand that concept, manifestation, or there's something that has been happening amiss in your life and you keep trying to figure it out and how to change it, but you keep getting fucked up by it, like you can't do anything about it, you feel disempowered, this is your pile. We're gonna get right into it. Half of you people are mystics, half of you are not. Just because you have weird experiences doesn't always mean you're a mystic or whatever. There's like repetitive loops that just happen all the time, right? And that's a lot of people across the planet. But then if you're a mystic, like you know that you're a mystic. You have empathy abilities, you might be telepathic, you might be into like actual spiritual practices of different sorts. You talk to your guides, you believe in angels, you speak to the universe through the symbology of the universe, and you're refining your ancient knowledge or innate abilities every like day, or that's just your lifestyle. Like you know you are a serial mystic if you're either practicing any of this stuff or you have innate talents and gifts that just appear and pop up and you don't need to practice it, but it's a lifestyle thing. You know that you're different in that way, like your life occurs differently and weirdly. So you decide which camp you're on. If it's loops, it's one camp. If it's mystic shit, it's mystic stuff. You good. So yeah, you mystics are healing a light code issue within the planet. Like it's a download in the matrix that's outdated and people are still gripping to it. So it's kind of like we as a collective needed some people to go in and snip and like cut away some of the circuitry and the attachments to the that by the collective. And it's like you some of you volunteered for this, others of you already knew this was going to happen because of the family you were born into. This is aligning with some big lineage clearing for you, and it will like change your family dynamics for sure. Like you'll see weird stuff happening there that'll be unexplainable, but really, like if you'll tune into your intuition, what has occurred, you will definitely see what it is. A lot of high strung energy, like not high strung, I guess, like high energy movement in this group. There's like just flowing stuff constantly happening. So if any of you are having purging symptoms, don't worry. That's kind of part of it as well. You'll be better when it's done. Worst case scenario, 2 weeks. Don't, like look at my disclaimer. That's why I don't ever mention anything about don't listen to me if you need to go to a doctor or other things. It is in the description. I believe all y'all are like adults and you know when to make your own damn decisions and not to listen to the cards if you really need to go seek professional help or do something real and grounded and practical instead of going woo woo on the situation. Like some people need to go woo woo, other people you you shouldn't take that road. You know what I mean? So and it's different at every point of life. Like you can't default of like if I'm just spiritual, like I'll just go and do this thing, or I want to get into spirituality, so I'll do this thing, and it'll heal me or feel like whatever, feel better, and then you mess up your whole dietary plan and feel like crap for half a year. You know what I mean? Like, make your discernment and your decisions. I am here as a reader. You have your own better judgment to exercise for every life choice you make. So, um, yeah. There's a lot of reversals here. Yeah, so for some of y'all, it's a case of like you believe some things just are a part of, yeah, as we spoke, like a part of your reality, and that's really getting challenged. If you have fears about relationships, really, it's not about you connecting to other people and how that will be tempered or felt like. It's more of a case of like you have relationship issues with yourself, and you're afraid to face that and be all alone in it, and like if you don't, you're still going to have people that react a certain way to different aspects of yourself, especially the ones that you resent or repress from yourself. So just like make your choices, you know, on what you really want to make and do. Um, yes, you're going to find stability in this like contemplation that you're going through. But like do it for the right reasons is what's coming across. Like there's something that you're ignoring that is important to you. And if you're gonna rush through it, or if you're gonna not even consider going the other way, right? Maybe it's a bit of a untangible or unseen path. Like people haven't really gone around this problem the same way. Sorry if you can hear my stomach, it's going crazy for this specific reading, so. I think it's the freaking moving energy, as I was talking about. But like, if you've really um made your own choices, right? Like you are gonna have your life come about to that as well. You don't need to do it in a specific way. Just because it's like unclear, right? Doesn't mean it has to be bad. If it feels right to you, if you understand the concept of it, if it's something that is coming from your core self, if it's a deep yearning you can't fight off, right? Like you don't need to normalize yourself to society standards so you get stability that way. You don't need to build relationships off of that. You don't need to take on anything you lived through and you went through into how you're going to be in the future. Everything is subject to change. And just because something might be practically the good decision at the current moment in time, maybe it isn't overall because you're gonna feel like shit for the next few years, or you're gonna need to put yourself in a box that's gonna limit you, right? Like maybe that weirdness that you are afraid of creating a relationship with inside of yourself, within yourself, is the point of all of it. Like, how do I respect that? How do I bring that out? How do I embody that? Like, maybe it's not a demon you need to quell and like say is a bad part of you. Maybe there's a real truth and a bit admittance of like I am ready to be in all of this the way I believe people can be. I believe the world can be better. I believe like this can be that, you know, like it doesn't need to follow the old rules that I was born with, that societal norms impart to me, that my education made me believe, that my job expects me to be like, or even like I like race is coming across quite a lot. Race and social class issues. Like maybe you've grown up in a certain family that didn't have a lot and was really tormented by that, and now like your whole being and the way you act is from that fear of like not having enough, having to save any and every penny because like if you don't, right? You're gonna have a tough time and you're not gonna be able to like cover that, or you're gonna need to get into more shit by getting more money or getting into sketchy deals to get that money, right? Maybe you could go through like the government to have some more support and help, but because you're like, I don't know, freaking black, Asian, something else, like not the same nationality as the country you're from, it is gonna make it harder and people aren't going to respect me and they're not going to give me that response that I'm looking for. And so like my survival is at question here. This is not necessarily some type of like hippie idea of like my identity and who I truly am and I just need to shine that light, but it's like a real freaking threatening life situation of like, if I do this and there's no way back, like, where the fuck am I gonna go? Am I even gonna have my livelihood supporting me? Am I gonna have options? Am I gonna have like support? Am I gonna have the right people, or am I just gonna be put down and like go through shit again? Because some of y'all really went through some fucking crap. I can see that right away. If you've experienced like the ghetto in your country in whatever way that matters or means, and you've gotten out of it, and it's like there's a new level that you're coming up to, and it's like, can I really go for that? Like, this is where I was, right? Don't defeat yourself by doubting your capabilities or how the world is changing. Like, you will find a way, and there will be people on the same level as you. Don't force that idea, don't force that belief, right? Like, take your time and reflect on it and find how you really feel and how you really want to go about it. But like, don't put yourself down just because like it's normal. A lot of stuff that is currently normal isn't fucking good for any of us. Like, look at the times of real civil revolution, right? People fucking made that happen, like, for everyone. It doesn't matter if they were like a different skin color, if they were in that continent, and like maybe there were women, right? Maybe it was during that age or this age. Like, it doesn't matter. Like, people should have the right to be who they are and express themselves, and then create the new paradigm, create the new narrative, be that exception that shows us that we aren't like boxed in, we aren't limited by what we went through or what is imprinted off on us by other people's perceptions just because of some stupid societal standards, right? Like, you shouldn't be poor just because you're this, that, and this, right? Like, that, and that you just deserve that and that's it, right? Or if it's for love, like, oh, I weigh this amount and I look like this, right? And this is the job I have, so I'm not gonna find like the partner I'm looking for. What the fuck do you know? Like, there's so many people that are looking for so many different things, and everyone has a different type. There's no norm, there's no normal type, there's no one size fits all. It's all subject to change, but it depends of like how far do we want to go in our journey, so that eventually maybe becomes like a huge avalanche and a big tsunami wave of change within like the neighborhood you're in, the state you're in, the country you're in, the freaking continent you're in, right? Like, look at the internet, it creates so many trends of where the world like across many places, if it's like a big company or whatever, right? The company needs to follow the like more liberal fads of like being more inclusive and supportive of their workers, having more interracial and like multinational backgrounds, providing as much as they can. And if like that doesn't work, then they need to start copying out money and investing in whatever aspect of their business that is now most relevant because it's a global initiative and there's no avoiding it, right? Like, it was a small thing where small businesses maybe started doing it first, or certain only places or certain only countries, and now it's a global deep, big dilemma and conversation of like work-life balance, and other things like how hip and cool and woke, right, is your company or is your workplace? To what extent is it healthy, right, in moving towards the new, and to what extent is it not, and it's messed up and it needs to like change and evolve, right? And we're all in the midst of the different throes of that for whatever our thing is currently: relationships, personal identity, hobbies, money investments, like everything. Everything is very much being shifted and shaped, and you can choose where you want to land. Like, you don't need to be enslaved to these narratives. It's hard, but if you're on this reading, you are the person that's like really in the know about this issue. You are the one that's lived through it, and you are so as well the power and the embodiment of change. Um, People that don't go through these issues can't change them. Right? It happens from the people that understand this on a deeper personal level. And so then they, through education, experience, research, other things, through taking action in their own lives, start changing the world really and giving that opportunity to other people. by first doing it for themselves, right? If you know how to do it for yourself, you can teach other people to do it too. Um, and you don't want to have like the fish handouts no more. You want to have a proper fucking good spot to get your fish from, to have that fishing line thrown, right? Like you want your own fishing rod, and you don't want to take no smack no shit from other people that don't resonate with this. But like then you need to live that truth. You need to be that person instead of like being this way or that way. You know, like it's there's no way around it basically. Um, and if you take this on, you will have success. But as it is currently, like you are still facing the problem, not the success of it, and it can swap because of your decisions. Will it be challenging? Yes, but will it be liberating as well? Frickin' yes, right? Like you can ask for signs, you know watch whatever information is relevant to you as well about it. Look at other people that have achieved this in their lives in different ways. Stop looking at their money and income. Stop looking at their social class bullshit. Stop looking at all of the things that are there to make us feel limited. Start looking at the point that this is how they are, this is what they live like, this is what happens because of it, and that you are just as capable of that, you know, and that the world will work with it. Yeah, this is a biggie. Thank you so much for letting me read your energy. This was an interesting um, reading. I hope you have a lot of success with wherever you're going and whatever you are doing. If you want to show support or share your story, go down towards the comments section. You can click the two magical buttons of subscribe and like if you want, or just comment or do none of those. I'm the boss of you. But I appreciate any support and like interaction. It makes my day. It makes me happy. It makes me happy. So, yeah, and you can check out my link tree for all of the other things that I do, like Twitch, gaming, and Etsy and Instagram. So, yeah, this is where I'm gonna leave you off, and see you next time.